3 mistakes that rental property owners make. What do we have here? Somebody just moved out of this rental property here, but what are some of the mistakes, right, that the rental property owners make? Let's hop right into it. So number 1, screening, right? Screening is the most important area, okay? The most important area of rental property, right? Because with your property management, that's gonna make and break you, whether you're gonna be successful in rental property. So your screening process, what is your screening process? You cannot just rent to somebody because they need a place to stay. No. This is how guys like wholesalers like me stay in business. This is why they have the court process with doing evictions. It's so, in every city, it's so backed up, etc., because of people not doing proper screening. And what is involved with your proper screening? A background check, job verification. You have to verify that they are working, okay? You want income. Income pays rent. Income pays mortgage, okay? So you have to make sure they have income. This may sound simple to some of you guys, but I've seen people rent properties because, oh, this person, they said they get a check from here, a check from there, a check from there, and they count that as income. The person's not working, and then they had to end up evicting the person because the person, $2,200 from government checks, but the rent is $1,300, and now they're not paying it. If you had a screening process in place, then what will happen was you would say, well, this person doesn't make 3 times the rent, they don't qualify. But instead, people just sometimes get desperate for the money. If you're renting properties yourself, people will call you and say, hey, I just won the lottery, I have $5,000. Hey, what if I paid the first month and the security deposit and all in one? Would you rent to me? And they look for private owners to run this game on. It may sound dumb to you, but believe me, it works. I had somebody, I don't manage my own properties, but I remember when I was trying to, I had somebody call me with that. And I said, oh, you won the lottery? Oh, okay. What's your name? Yeah, well, I can't find it on Google that you won the lottery. So how about this, man? How about you just pay me the first 2 years, I'll let you rent the place. And that person never called me back. What happens is they might get an income tax check and they just want to move in because they don't want to pay their back rent on the other place. And then they're not going to pay you. But if you have a screening process in place, then you don't have to worry about that, right? And you need to know your level of asset, right? So if you're in a low income neighborhood, why are you focused on credit? No, you're focused on job stability. You're seeing what their last eviction was. If their last eviction was older than 5 years, you can let them go. You check your backgrounds. So you have to have a screening process in place to rent in properties. That is number 1. Rolling into number 2, you need systems, okay? You just don't need a system for screening. You need a system for collecting payments, okay? I've been seeing a lot of stories lately, more than usual, about how tenants are setting the landlord up to get robbed, and the robbery goes wrong and somebody loses their lives, some violent act happens to them, right? But you have to have a system in place. You have to let your tenants know up front, hey, listen, as far as payment, if you don't write a check, you can do a money order. Rent is due on the 1st. After the 5th is late. Or you could say, yo, rent is due on the 1st. After the 1st is late, I tack on this late fee. You have to have your systems in place, okay? You have to say, hey, listen, you can call this number between these hours. After X hour, the phone goes off. If the house burns down, that's fine. I will get it the next day. Because if the house burning down, guys, and it's 2 in the morning, what are you gonna do? They gotta call the fire department. So you tell them, hey, the house burned down, just call 911, don't call me. I will take my messages, and these are the guys who succeed. Because the guys who don't have systems in place to handle all these things, they get burnt out and they say, man, I can't do it. I just wanna get rid of the property, okay? But you gotta have a system in place for collection of payments, right? How do you collect payments? Do you debit the check? Do you have an online portal system? You need a system, hey, yo, who do they call for maintenance issues? What's the hours they can call? Okay, is there an email you can give them? You have to have systems in place for each thing so that you don't get overwhelmed and burnt out, because it will burn you out. These people will burn you out, all right? So having the proper systems in place. And last but not least, this one, oh my God, this one's like the most important. Do not rent to family and friends, guys. Do not rent to family and friends. I have bought so many houses, I've wholesaled so many houses because somebody rented to a family member or a friend. And sometimes what happens is people feel bad when they gotta evict that family member, okay? Guys, it's your family. Now, I'm not saying everybody's maybe not apply for everybody, but a lot of situations, if you're gonna rent to a family or a friend, make sure you follow your screening process. And following your screening process, make sure they qualify. What I'm talking about renting to family and friends is just saying,
Oh, okay. Oh, you need a place to rent? Oh, okay. Yeah, just come on, Quan. Yeah, just move in, bro. Just move in. Go ahead, bro. Yeah, rent is gonna be let's say $1,200 and pay me on the first. All right.
so then you call Quan up on the first, and what happens? Quan got excuses.
Oh, yo, listen, man. It was a little slow at the job. Give me, but I'm having a 6. I'm having a 6.
Then 6 rolls around,
Man, listen, all I got is $400.
and then they get that and they don't pay them. I've seen people do this to their parents, and I've seen, parents do this to their kids where they're not paying. So you have to understand your relationship. Just because you maybe love that person, you probably never dealt with money with that individual. And being that you never dealt with money with that individual, you don't know how that individual is going to act when there's money involved. So keep that in mind. So you follow your system, okay? You say, all right, well, you could apply, because I've seen too many times whereas somebody, this is a business, okay? This is a business, this is an investment. And I've seen too many times that any full-time real estate investor seen this, whereas somebody made a decision with their heart. And because you make a decision with your heart does not mean you're gonna get a good ending, all right? It can still blow up and end up in a mess, guys. So please don't rent to family and friends unless they're gonna follow the system and processes, because they might look at you and say, hey, why do I gotta pay you, man? You're my cousin. We grew up together, after they got into your place. And then what happens is you gotta do the eviction, but if you do the eviction, his mother, which is your aunt, is gonna call you and the family gonna be upset with you. It's best to say, nah, I don't have anything available, and be the bad guy with your money in your pocket, then extend your place to this person, and you're still gonna end up being the bad guy, and then you're losing money out of your pocket. So keep that in mind, guys. So, if you wanna add on some other dangers that landlords should be aware of, just comment below. Also, in the meantime, if you just wanna click on that video next to me, stay on the channel, and please subscribe. Peace.